Welcome to the Obvious Podcast, episode number 99. Wow, 99.
Hard to believe.
Right. I'm Sonny Macon, COO at ABC Florida East Coast.
And I'm Peter Dyga, President and CEO at ABC Florida East Coast.
You are listening or watching the Obvious Podcast, where all opinions expressed are our own, unless we say otherwise.
Subscribe on any major podcast platform or watch us in action on YouTube. Follow the Obvious Podcast on Instagram, X, Truth Social, and TikTok. All the links you need are in the show notes. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. This is the best way for others to find our show. And we also ask you to reach out to us at any time, or you can reach out to us at any time at theobvious@abceastflorida.com. And again, if you're enjoying the ride, help others find us by leaving a review wherever you listen. Happy Friday, Sonny.
Happy Friday. 99 episodes in
99
the can.
episodes. So
can't believe it. So,
and by the way, we start every show with saying these are our personal views unless stated otherwise. Maybe we don't do a very good job of stating otherwise. They're not our necessarily personal views. But,
but
anyway, today in particular, we probably want to spend a little time.
It's very personal. It'll be a personal episode. Yep. So before I get into the meat and potatoes
now
of
that
this
we have
episode.
Everybody's ears and antennas up.
Oh yeah, what are these two going to talk about? What controversies are going to light on fire? I do want to tell our audience to make sure you tune in next Friday for our 100th episode.
That's right. We got a very special episode.
A very special episode coming, Mr.
It'll
Producer.
be a little longer than usual, but we're going to do a little summarizing, highlights, strolling down memory lane.
I mean, Mr. Producer says he has a lot of surprises planned, which even you and I are not privy to, which is fine. We're the talent. I get it, right? But there's a lot. I don't know why he's laughing at that when I said we're the talent, but we have a lot of surprises planned. It'll be a very special episode. We're excited, and I think one of the reasons we've hit 100 episodes is because we don't sort of have some sort of a formula where we kind of talk about the same things again and again. I mean, we repeat a lot of stuff, but we don't talk about the same things again and again. And we get personal. We talk about personal things. And our whole thing is like, listen, if you're not entertained and you're not enlightened, you're not going to watch the show. And if you're not going to watch the show, what's the point, right? Absolutely. Like the whole idea is to give our audience something that it enjoys and something unique and different and perspective. And it can't all be on the same topics. Every week. We're putting out an episode every Friday. We're about to hit 100 episodes. So that's why today's episode is a little unique. It's a little different. But before I even get into that, I have a surprise for you, Peter, because you were gone for America's 250th.
I was.
You were in Europe, which is what the show's about, but and not about Europe or how terrible they were during World War II. That's a different conversation.
We might get into that.
But Dunkin' Donuts put this out. This is their Eagle Cup, and it's a cup, like it opens up.
You're supposed to design. Oh, okay,
right.
Okay.
And then they put you a drink, and this thing gets you like a free drink for a month or something.
Oh, really? For the month of July?
Yep.
I get a free drink.
You get a free drink. So I wanted to get that to you. A little welcome back to America gift.
Looks like a penguin. Is this supposed to be an eagle?
It's an eagle.
Okay. It's an eagle. Thank you. Good job, Dunkin' Donuts.
And we don't even have Dunkin' as a sponsor, but I wanted to make sure you receive that. You should.
We'll welcome you as a sponsor.
I mean, it's an American eagle, and so and reminded me sort of the Maltese Falcon a little bit because if you don't know what that movie is, please watch it. Classic. Humphrey Bogart, long time ago, but brilliant movie. Anyway, so like I said, you missed the America's 250th anniversary. And the reason you missed it is because you were in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And it's not because you hit America and you were like, I'm leaving this country to miss the 250th anniversary.
Yeah, just I don't know.
You went there. Tell us why you went there.
So I went to Europe, which I've been doing for a number of years with my sister, and on a pilgrimage.
On a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
So the reason
not to Europe per se, I've been to pilgrimages.
Well, you've been to pilgrimages all over the world. Yes.
But this year it was.
What I wanted to talk to you about, you posted something very different.
Okay.
On your social media. And so if people follow you on Facebook, they would know this. You basically did this whole thing, and I think you did it right before you left or as you were leaving.
Yeah.
Sort of the difference between a pilgrimage and being a tourist.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a thought that I had never really contemplated, didn't know the difference, didn't really ever think about it. And when you posted that, I thought that was such an interesting idea, and I figured I would love for our audience to know that difference and kind of talk about your trip, talk about your experience. But really, one, I'm really curious as to why you do it. And then number two is what it looks like in reality that makes it so different than what a typical tourist does.
Okay. Wow. And that post, I mean, I can't take credit for that. I think I've always felt like being a pilgrim was a different experience, different objectives, hopefully different, even a different starting point, than just being a tourist, and whatnot. And so I think I got that off the internet somewhere. I thought it was apropos. So, but my experience really stems from a commitment my sister and I made to each other a few years back when we lost our mother, who was someone who enjoyed traveling. And she died at a relatively young age and didn't get to do all the traveling she would have liked because, if you don't, I don't know, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
So we just kind of like, hey, as a kind of just to honor her, let's you and I, as brother and sister, commit, and we're working on getting my other brother to kind of come to us. But he, anyway, we can get into that a little bit. He's turned off maybe by the pilgrim versus the tourist.
With the tourist part.
So, but
I will point out that the first time I met your brother was in Vegas. So it was easy to get him there.
yes. And the coincidence of the fact that he happened to be in town when we were there.
Right?
But we committed, let's you and I do our best. She works for a school district, so the best time for her is summer.
Right.
So usually, during the summer, committing to going on a pilgrimage, and traveling together. Well, we probably at the time it was more, traveling, and I probably was more of the impetus for making it, more significant than just taking pictures and checking a box and telling people I've been to this location, which I think is the difference between, again, being a tourist and being a pilgrim.
Being a pilgrim.
So, anyway, I mean, there's a more, formal, I think, definition. A pilgrimage, in my context, is kind of has a Christian context. I don't know that a pilgrimage necessarily has to be Christian. I think a pilgrimage is, traveling to. I think the technical definition is, to holy sites.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Muslims do it with their Mecca.
Sure, and I don't know, perhaps any religion. You could have a pilgrimage, I presume, if the objective or the goal is, to travel to what you would consider a holy site, and hopefully is having a transformative experience, where you come back to your personal life, as we all have to, and hopefully a changed person to some degree or another, or drawn closer to,
So would you say it's a part of your sanctification process, or is it some sort of
That's a great way of saying it, yeah.
a spiritual need it fills for you, or
Both of those, I would say. Yep.
Okay.
So
on this specific trip,
a life's full of enough challenges, right? Without, having,
absolutely.
So we started doing this years ago, and this year we did one, and we've always done these through an organization. There are many organizations out there that will help you coordinate this. So we do go with a group. For me in particular, it's an organization called 206 Tours. What we like about them over the years is there's always a priest, on your tour with your group. So you have a kind of a spiritual advisor. You have mass every day.
Wow.
He's available for confessions for people that want to have, anyway, it's nice having.
Is he a priest from like the country you're in, or does he?
Nope, he's any kind of, generally 206, just, priests know that they pretty much pay for the expenses if you're willing to go, and work. So, I think they have probably a pretty good steady of priests that are like, oh, I'm interested in that pilgrimage and that time works for me, so I'll sign up for that,
And they get to go with the tour.
They get to go with the group. So cool. You'll probably never wind up with the same one on any one pilgrimage, but So
have you had priests repeat on your tours, or they have been different?
Not in any of the ones we've been
with
to.
206 that you've been.
Always a different priest. So
very cool.
The one we had on this trip was he's actually from Nigeria. So, and he had studied in Rome for 7 years. So he spoke Nigeria, I guess official language is English. So he knew English.
Yeah.
They have another English dialect as well, kind of like patois, or something here in the Caribbean.
And then he spoke Italian.
And then he spoke Italian after his 7 years there. And he since has been transferred to Lincoln, Nebraska. So he works He works at a parish in Lincoln, Nebraska. So.
I bet he doesn't have to use his Italian there.
So no. So any event, he was wonderful. And it's always a blessing to. So over the years, we started with all the, from a Christian perspective, what you would expect to be the most significant Christian pilgrimage sites, right? We went to the Holy Land.
Yeah.
That might have been the first or second. Italy, was one. We did Poland one year, kind of called the footsteps of Pope St. John Paul II, which was probably one of my favorites. Poland is a spectacular country with spectacular people. We did Ireland. We did the Camino. Now, those that don't know, the Camino, there's been several movies that popularized the Camino, and the most popular one is from France. But really, the Camino is any path that pilgrims for centuries, if not millennium, have taken to visit St. James burial site in Compostela, in Santiago de Compostela in Spain. On the
I didn't even know St. James was buried in Spain.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for centuries, millennium, again, the most popular one is in France. It's like, I don't want to, I'll probably get it wrong, but I don't know, 700 miles, and people walk this.
For 700 miles?
Yeah.
When you talk about St. James, you mean James from the book of the Bible, right? That James. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've probably seen videos of the church St. James is buried has this huge censer that the monks.
Oh yeah,
that's
in Spain. Oh, I had no idea.
Compostela.
Okay.
And that church and that mass with the censer is a mass that's celebrated for all the pilgrims that arrive that day.
Okay.
Some of them have been on the way for like months backpacking.
Wow.
And so a lot of people today will do the Camino. That really, they're not Christian or really for no religious purpose at all. It's for them, it's more of a
overcoming some challenge.
Bring yourself,
whatever.
So, but it started off as a kind of a Christian pilgrimage of honoring the saint, the apostle. Most people think of the French way, but it actually is pretty much there's an Italian way and a northern Spain way and a Portugal way, and because whatever path the person was taking. So, any pretty much one of the pilgrimages we did was the Spain Camino. So,
on this trip,
except we did it in a bus.
700 miles on a bus?
Because these groups,
that sounds too long.
Well, no, the French one is the longest one, 700 miles. The Spanish one was like from Barcelona and through northern Spain.
Okay.
And then I think the last 5 miles, they dump you off and
then make you walk 5 miles. Okay.
So anyway.
That's pretty long too.
So we did that. And then this year was called Marian Shrines of... So we went to Lisbon in Portugal and then Fatima. Which I don't know how many people are familiar, but Fatima is a pretty significant.
That's a well-known site.
Apparition site, that occurred in 1917. And so, and then we went through several other very significant towns in Spain. Loyola, which is where St. Ignatius of Loyola was born. Yeah. I went to Salamanca, and we went to Avila, where Teresa of Avila was born, and worked our way up through across the Pyrenees into France to Lourdes. So that was our
wow. Spiritual impact. Like, how did it feel? How do you feel like it transformed you? What did you enjoy the most?
Yeah. I obviously enjoy being together, spending time together with my sister and with Sadi and whatnot. But you're also in a group, which is, I think one of my posts I might have posted, this is imagine how I feel being a Christian in the early years or centuries must have been like. Yeah. Because the world around you was Christian. Yeah. So you all woke up every day and you had the same experience, and, you prayed together and sang together, and, so it's like that for 10 days, which is kind of nice.
It's like a corporate experience as opposed to an individual experience.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah. So that's kind of nice. And even some of these towns that we went to, Fatima and Lourdes, I'm sure what happens. Anything like that's going to attract bad elements in society, but you didn't sense it. You didn't feel it at all. Everybody was there for
the right reasons.
For the right reasons, And when and there's a lot of people. When we were in the middle of summer, even their summer, but, there was, I don't know how many people, but every night, processions and praying and whatnot. A lot of people. Lourdes in particular. That town is just packed with pilgrims.
So the pilgrimage piece really sort of determines the location and the destination, right?
Well, and again, if you think of a pilgrimage as visiting holy sites and trying to grow in that sanctity and whatnot, you can find holy sites almost anywhere. So, and we do. You go through a lot of small towns in Spain and Portugal and France, and stops along the way, which you find the monasteries and the basilicas and the cathedrals and the whatever. So,
But then how does like, do you get free time? How does how do you do like the restaurants? Do you get, how does the meals work? Like, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. This particular group's great. Again, you have the priest, which is awesome. You have a mass every day. And to me, as a Catholic, a mass is the, highest form of, of worship we can do. The places we have it are just, over the years, are just astounding. Like I remember our Holy Land pilgrimage, and when you're actually having mass at the Holy Sepulchre, or the foot of the cross, where you're having them. Anyway, the places that you have mass are pretty spectacular. So you generally have provided that they take care of everything, which makes this really nice. And their experience, they know exactly how long people can tolerate this, right? Because there's a little bit of part of the experience is doing this together,
right?
And having to deal with, trying to live out your principles in a group setting, when we know that's challenging, So, but they know exactly, how long it needs to be to get done what you want to do, but not too long to where you're ready to kill each other.
Frustrated,
So, but it's beautiful. They do all the arrangements, usually spectacular hotels, really pretty good, pretty nice hotels.
You eat all your meals together?
We eat all our meals together, except sometimes lunch is oftentimes free
On your
own. But they're breakfast and dinner, and they provide wine at dinner, which is nice. A nice air-conditioned, comfortable.
You can tell that's a Catholic group, because the Protestants will never do that.
They'd have wine at dinner. So, anyway, so it's it's great. We had, I think, well, at one point, and by the way, it changes because sometimes they're merging. They might have a tour that's just doing Lourdes. So you might have been doing some of your tour doing other sites, and then you get to Lourdes and you meet up with another group. So, so the size of the group is changing, but we're probably with a core group of, I don't know, 18 or 25, I think it was for most of the trip, and then it got as high as 40 or 50, I think, in Lourdes. So, but it's a great time for the distractions of life. You're not having to pay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And everybody here back at the office, because, a few years ago it was much more difficult to be away and knowing that. So, but being away from the distractions of life and, again, living your faith as a society, as a group, as a community, which is kind of the way it was,
I mean, that's literally, worship is meant to be, a group activity.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I saw something on your post. We're running out of time, so I'm going to ask you two quick questions. I saw something on your post where you were speaking at a church in the morning or something. How did that come about?
Where I was in particular? So I don't know how much. I mean, you're probably pretty familiar, more than most, with the Catholic Mass, but there's readings during the Mass. So in the laity. So I was chosen to do the reading during the Mass, actually at Fatima, which is most people in the group at one point or another, who want to do a reading or, get to do a reading because, we're...
But you got it.
Well, and the one at Fatima was not just a private Mass, which a lot of times they're just private Masses for your group. But since we were at a public pilgrimage site, there were pilgrims from all over the world at that Mass. And
you got to do the reading.
I got to do the reading.
Do you remember what your reading was?
It was a Revelation.
Oh, wow.
Chapter 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
People must have been like, did he not say Revelations? By the way, that drives me nuts. It's singular. It's Revelation, not Revelations.
So anyway, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was quite an honor.
We're running out of time. So last question. What was your favorite destination and why?
Wow. That's really hard. So of the two Marian sites, I enjoyed Fatima.
Okay.
I mean, they're both spectacular, and Lourdes is a beautiful place, in the French countryside at the foothills of the Pyrenees. Right. But and a much larger, it seemed much more people there. So, but I don't know, Fatima, because Fatima, the message of Fatima, the fact there was an apparition of Our Lady as well as angels, actually, I think 3 different apparitions of angels to the 3 young children occurred about a year before the Marian apparitions happened. And, it was a beautiful message of really repentance and, so in any event, that spoke to me a little bit more. So, but boy, the different sites that we went to, the birthplace of St. Anthony of Padua in Lisbon.
Wow.
It's an interesting story because he's called St. Anthony of Padua.
I don't know why did you call it?
So, well, because he kind of ended his life in Padua, but it's a little bit of a sore point with the Portuguese because he's from Lisbon, and he's like, well, he's really St. Anthony of Lisbon, So anyway,
That's so funny.
yeah. So the monasteries we go to and these Christian, what do you call them? Rock stars. I mean, St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, and St. Teresa of Avila.
And it's great to see the Jesuits now.
Probably.
But that's a different.
Yeah, that is a different conversation, but one that thoughts that I've had. So, but in any event,
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, you went to Georgetown." I'm sorry. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
You were in Europe, and the Europeans were here for the World Cup, and you were in Europe for spiritual reasons.
Yep, I represented the U.S. and they certainly don't mind us spending our money there. And
They don't.
I didn't get to watch a lot of the game or anything because of the time difference and whatnot.
Right.
So, but
But they were living Buc-ee's, and you were enjoying the
I
Pyrenees.
think we were in Salamanca, which the square there is huge. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Europe is much, and I might have talked in the past about Latin America or Costa Rica, which I'm more familiar with. How every town has a square with a church.
Yeah.
And their park is usually and it's a part of Europe's very similar. And Salamanca Square was huge, and that was the night that I think. Was it in Salamanca or was it? It was in Salamanca. That was the night the Spain or the Spanish game was being played, I think, and all the people were out.
Oh, the Spanish game, yes.
That was great. It was great. So, in any event, that was fun.
Was that a close game or the Spain?
I forget the final.
Won?
It was close, I think.
Was it a close game?
2?
Yeah.
No, the Spain-Portugal one. Was that the one? I don't know. It was the one that Spain played before that,
Oh, before the Portugal.
I think. I forget who they played.
Well, it was a long time ago. We're getting ready for a real football now in this country. Oh man, I'm gonna get some hate mail for that one.
We're probably getting hate mail anyway.
I know. We're getting ready for.
We had a spectacular time.
That's awesome. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And I'm glad that sort of each trip sort of helps with the process of sanctification, and you're able to live out certainly your mother's dreams, and to do it with your sister and your family is so rewarding and wonderful. So we hope you enjoyed this little detour we took into something a little bit more personal. Give us your thoughts, comments. Send us an email at theobvious@abcfloridaeast. Oh my gosh. theobvious@abceastflorida.com.
All right.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Until next time. 100, episode 100.
Next week. Don't miss that.
Tune in. All right. Till next time. Ciao.